Hi, and welcome to our tutorial for Classroom. It's Erica and Michelle here with you, and we're going to just go through how to get to Classroom, how to engage in your class, how to go through and submit an assignment, just basically an overview of all the essentials that you're going to need to know for the upcoming school year. So we're going to start where we started, which is our invitation from our teacher to join into our class. So this is going to come to whichever email you have on file with the school. I have my school email address, my Gmail account with CMM. So my email for my class came to that one. And when you open it up, you'll see that you're invited to join your class for the upcoming school year. And you're going to click on Join Class. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to open up Classroom and it's going to bring you right to that class that you are enrolled in. You'll get that invitation sent to you after you pay your deposit, your initial deposit that's required, and then you'll be officially enrolled in the class and you can look for that email. Check your spam folder just in case. And again, make sure that you're checking whatever email it is you have on file with the school. So
And
this
once
is your
you get,
Classroom page. Oh, yes,
oh, I
Michelle.
have a question. So once you get into Classroom, you might want to save that as a bookmark so that
Yes,
you
good
have that
point.
on your computer so that
So
it'll
you
be
can
easier
do
for you
that.
in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that up here. There's favorites, or depending on, I know not every platform is the same. So depending on your laptop or your tablet or your phone, everything might look a little bit different between platforms. But if you familiarize yourself with your device, you can find where your favorites are. On here, we have some favorites, and I'm going to click this little star with the plus, and now I've added that to my favorites. And it's right there for me for next time I want to use it. There it would be. Thank you, Michelle.
Yes.
So in our classroom page, we're going to start over here on our sidebar and work our way down through, and then we'll go into the rest of it. So right here is our main menu. We can expand it or we can minimize it. So we're going to expand it and look at all of these icons going down through the sidebar. So we have our home button, which will bring us back to home. We can also accomplish that by hitting this classroom button, which does the same thing. When you're in your home, under home, you're going to see any classes that you've been enrolled in previously, as well as your current one here. When you go down through, you have a calendar. You're going to get a 1 week spread at a time. So it's going to highlight what today's date is. When you have assignments, we just have to go back a little bit. Whoops, there we go, for some past assignments. So here are some assignments that were due back in May that I had at the end of the year. So you'll see that they're listed there. There's a lot of ways to find your assignments on here. So you can kind of play around and get to know all the different pieces. So then we're going to go, again, you can go right back to home, either there, the classroom piece or the home piece. Going down the sidebar, the next piece is Gemini, which I don't believe we had on there previous years. But
No.
basically, it's just tools, AI tools for educators. It's not anything you're going to need, but I wanted to show you what it is just so you wouldn't be wondering. The next piece down is our enrolled icon. So there's a drop down box and it's expanded and you have to do. And then again, you have listed all of your classes. When you hit to do, it's going to bring you to all of your assignments. So you'll have, obviously, because the school year hasn't started, I don't have any assigned assignments here. So that's going to show blank. You'll be able to use the drop down box to check all of these different courses. If you've had ones previous years, you may want to go back and look at previous assignments. You might think to yourself, oh, I remember discussing something last year in an assignment that might go with what we're talking about now. So you might want to kind of look it up. You'll have a place where that shows your missing assignments. And here is where you see all your done assignments, and they'll show you if it was done early, if it was done on time, whatever the case may be, and you'll see some grades there. You can search in the drop down box again by specific courses if you wanted to see specifically what has to do with those. So that is your to do box. And again, you have assigned, missing, and done, and you can search by classes. So then we're going to go back down. We'll get that out of the way for a moment. Whoops. Sometimes you got to just play around with it a little bit. Oh, because I'm hitting the wrong one. Okay, so archived classes, you're probably not going to find anything there, but just so you know, sometimes maybe there may be archived classes down in the future. I'm not sure. Here we have the settings. So this is kind of important to remember that it's here. You can have a profile picture if you'd like. You have your account settings, which has your password, your security options, your name. So down here's the piece we really wanted to highlight with you, which is your notifications. So these notifications, you want to probably leave them on so that you'll get notified if there's comments in your classroom, if there's comments to you privately or for your whole class, if there's work or posts from your teacher. All of this stuff is going to go right to your email if that's how you have your notifications set up. So that way you won't miss anything, which is really helpful. So now we're going to go back home. We're going to go into a class for a moment. We're going to go into this new class, which is just getting set up by Dr. Cindy for the upcoming school year, because we wanted to show you that here is the Zoom information. So your teachers will share your Zoom information with you for your courses. That way you know what time your next Zoom is or what time you meet regularly each day of the week, each week, whatever the case may be. So you'll have that Zoom link there. You will click on it and that will bring up a page like this. I'm not going to engage in it because we're already on Zoom at the moment to record, but you would hit open and follow the prompts.
And
It,
this will not change throughout the entire year. So this will be the same link that you need every week for your class.
yes. And we recommend saving it. That way you have it handy because when more announcements come on this page, it could easily get buried. Now, your instructors do a great job at bumping that back up or reposting it to keep it fresh. But if you save it yourself, it's going to keep it more convenient. So you can just highlight it and copy it. And if you have a note-taking app, either on your phone or on your laptop, you can plop it right in there and it will save it for you. And then you'll always have it handy each week that you need it. So you can just copy and paste it into Zoom or click on it depending on how your app saves it. So you'll see here that this is our stream. So this is kind of your main page for your course. You see that this is the 2025-2026 Master in Christian Counseling course, and that there's no upcoming work because class hasn't started yet. This upcoming space is really great. It will give you a snapshot of what's due in the next 7 days. So if you're wondering, oh, when is my assignment? What do I need to be doing this week? You can look right there and see it. And you can expand it to show all if it doesn't all fit in the box, if you have many things that are due. Here we have our announcements, where your teacher can post announcements, you can post announcements to your class. It's really simple to do so. You just click on the box and you can type what you'd like to say. There are some editing tools here. You've got bold, italics, underline, some other options. You can upload files. You can upload from Google Drive. You can upload from Microsoft Word or a PDF. You can link in a YouTube video or a website. So you have lots of options there. You do want to make sure to remember that this isn't a private comment between you and your teacher. It's for the whole class to see. So if you have something specific for your instructor, you may want to email them or contact them with whatever preferred method they have for you to contact them. Just be sure you know what is the best approach for that. When you're all set, you would hit post and it would post your announcement for everyone to see. We're going to cancel that for now. You can also comment on other people's posts by doing the same thing. You just click on the box underneath, you add your comment, you can use the editing tools, the formatting tools, sorry, if you'd like, and you can hit post. So we're not going to send anything there either, but now you know what it's about. So your announcements, you definitely want to make sure when you're commenting or making announcements that you're just taking a moment to proofread what you're putting in there. So there's not too many errors and it's easy for people to understand what it is you're trying to say. Let's
And this
see.
can fill up very quickly throughout the year.
Yes.
So, I mean, as you see, Dr. Cindy's already posted some announcements, but once everybody gets into class, it really gets long. So that's why it's important to save important things to you or bookmark them or put them in a favorite or whatever, just so you can access them quicker.
Absolutely. We're going to look at this next tab next, which is classwork, but we're going to go into a course that has been previously taken so that we can see some how it works with some assignments and things that are on there where the other class isn't set up. There won't be any of that stuff. So here under the classwork page, tab, sorry, we have all of our work. It's going to bring you down through everything. You can also view it here by clicking on this button and it will pull up and you can see your grades very easily that way for the ones that have been graded. You can also filter by topic with this drop-down box. Right now it says all topics, but if you click on it, there's different pieces you can jump to. So here you would have all the classes for Masters in Christian Counseling 306, which is Christian Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, CBT. So that just brings you to those specific courses. Now, sometimes your teacher will have them set up like this, so you can filter by courses. Other times, they may not have them in different sections, and you'll have to just scroll through all of them. So, the best way to tell which class is which is looking for those key numbers, like the Masters of Christian Counseling, which is this course, and 308, which is the class that's within the program. And so you have your program, I'm sorry, the Masters of Christian Counseling. Then you have your course, your class 308. And this was a case study project. So you want to be able to decipher those labels and know what is what. It can get very confusing by the middle of the year when you have different books and different classes and you're trying to remember which books go with which courses. So we really recommend that you make a list for yourself, just the list of the course number, the name of the course, the name of the book or whatever books go with it, and the authors. That way, if you're seeing something that's a little bit different, you'll know which it is. So you'll see here, it's Masters of Christian Counseling 307, but up here it's 307A, so you don't have the Masters of Christian Counseling there. Or, for example, here in the CBT classes, some of them may not, those do. But just so you are aware, they might not always look like that. It depends on how your instructor puts the labels in when they create the assignment.
So
So
typically
the
they put the number in and they might add something else or they might not. And that's why it's so important to have your list of what books are what numbers with which courses. Because, like Erica said, at first it's pretty easy, but as you go through the year and you get more, and sometimes they'll change, well, we're going to do this one a little bit early, it can get kind of confusing.
Absolutely. Here's an example of that. So this is course 301, Introduction to Nouthetic Counseling. And so here for the assignments, we see names of the assignments, but not the course number in it. So they're under the heading for 301. So you have to pay good attention to what is what and keep yourself organized, which is good practice. So we're going to go into an actual assignment here. I'm going to choose one that's going to have a lot of different information to look at so you can see a lot of different things. So I'm gonna, if you expand it, you'll see you have your due date here, you have your date it was posted, if it was edited, if it's been graded, you'll have a brief description of what your assignment is. This one had a YouTube video attached to it, and that was the assignment to watch the video and create an essay to go with it. We're going to click on View Instructions. It pulls it up and into your screen here, and you have all the same information with a few additions. Right here, it says class comments. Again, this is going to go to the entire class. This is not a private comment between you and your instructor. But just like with the announcements page, it works pretty much the same way. You would click on it, you would make your comment, you can format it if you'd like, and you would hit post. If there's a comment there from a classmate, maybe they posted, "Oh, did you guys like this video? I thought it was great," and you wanted to reply, there'd be a little place to reply to a comment and send that. Over on this side, We're going to just jump down to the bottom real quick. So you have your private comment section, which is between you and your instructor. So your instructor can comment or you can comment, you can reply. Now, I just did want to mention that they may not see this right away. So if it's something important, say you're at a deadline and you have to get a question answered so you can get your assignment submitted on time, you may want to contact them a more direct way than this because they're going to get an email notification that you sent a private comment. They might not see that. So it's not direct. So just keep that in mind. And again, you want to proofread it before you send it. Make sure it's clear as to what you're trying to convey for a message. Up here, we have your work. So again, it will tell you if it's been graded. This one has been already submitted because this is a previous course. So it shows here. If I wanted to remove it, I could do that. If I wanted to add to it, or if it was I hadn't done the assignment and I wanted to add my assignment or create it, we're going to go down to this piece here, add or create. You have several options here. You can add a file from Google Drive or from Microsoft Word or a PDF, whatever platform you were using. You can add a link to a web page. You can do those kinds of things depending on what your assignment is asking for. You can also create, if you don't want to add, you can create something new. So here we're going to pop open this Google Docs to show you guys a few things. Now, a lot of the assignments are going to ask for you to adhere to a specific word count. So here under our tools, say you have a 500 word essay, you're going to click on tools. You're going to go down to word count. You're going to display your word count while you're typing. Now, as you see, it's right down here. So that way you'll know, am I at the 500 words? Am I way over? Do I have a ways to go? It really gets more crucial with those bigger papers because you can, if you're writing a 100-word essay, you can kind of judge that. But when you get to the 500 or the 1,000, you're really going to make sure you're knowing where you're at. So another thing to keep in mind if you're adding or if you're creating a Google document is while you start typing, uh, we're just going to stick with the hello. While you're typing, if your teacher happens to be on and looking at this, she can see or he can see your progress. They'll know where you're at. Now, that gets a little confusing on the Google Classroom site sometimes because if you want to save it and come back and do it later, they may think you submitted it because they see that you were done working on it and they may grade it or they may say, hey, how come you didn't write enough or whatever the case is. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind. We really recommend that instead of it doing it this way, that you add your file by either doing a separate document in Google Docs or Microsoft Word and uploading it, or making your document and then copying and pasting it into a new document so that you're copying and pasting over your entire document at once when it's ready to submit.
Can you go
Once you're
back into
Yeah.
documents and show us the submit? Okay.
Oh, okay,
So
so that's not here. Hold on one second. So there is this turn in button here. So when you're done, you would hit that and it will say turn in your work. It will ask you if you really want to do that. And so you can hit cancel or you can hit turn in. And then you can resubmit things here. We're going to remove that.
so it's always important to double check once you've submitted something that you're able to see it into your work and you can see how in the upper right-hand corner her document under your work was submitted so you know that it's been turned in.
Yes. and we're going to expand this for just one moment. So, your teacher, in addition to replying under the private comments section, they can reply right in your document. So, here you'll see that Dr. Cindy highlighted part of the paper she wanted to respond to. And over here, she made a little comment just to let me know that, yeah, she was in agreement with that. So you always want to check there to see if there's any comments or important information. Now, Michelle, would you like to explain how you set up your documents
Yeah.
to
So
kind of thank
when
you.
I submit them, I do mine under Microsoft Word, and then afterwards I just go in and create the Google Doc, and then I cut and paste it. But with my courses, what I do, it just makes it easier for me. So I finished the Bachelor's in Christian Counseling, which is the BCC course. So I would go and at the top of my page of everything I submitted, I would put BCC 308. So I knew which course it was. And then I would put the date for the due date. So then I would know, and then I would put my name at the top. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I just got into a routine of doing that. So at any point through my Word document, I would know, okay, this was course 308, and this was the date that I turned it in, just to help me stay a little bit more organized and just to make it clear when the instructor was looking at it, which assignment they were looking at.
Yes. And you can also, if you wanted to, you could copy and paste the title of the assignment and use that as your title here. You could make your own title, but definitely somewhere up above here, it would be great to have what Michelle said, which is your course number and the date, all of that information that she went over. All right, we're gonna back it up just a tad. Also, when it comes to your assignments, you want to definitely try to fine tune a method of note taking. So, for example, this assignment, like we said, has a video attached to it. It was almost an hour long. So, you were to listen to the video and then respond to what your thoughts were or what was specifically asked. That's going to be really hard to do without good notes. So, if you can come up with a good way that works for you for note taking, whether it's pausing the video and jotting things down word for word or just writing down little snapshots of what you're hearing. Whatever the case may be, you know what works best for you, and if you're not sure, you can try out a few different ways and see, but you're definitely going to want those notes when you go to write your response. That's definitely helpful. Some other tips for your assignments are to back up your writing, back up your work until after graduation. So all of your work that you're submitting, you're going to want to have that a copy of that saved for yourself on your computer or your tablet, however you do your work. Technology is not perfect, and sometimes things go missing and glitches happen. If you have all of your work and a problem occurs at the end of the school year, you're going to say, oh, okay, I can send that to you again if you need it. And if you have it organized, how Michelle was saying, you'll quickly know which assignment it is because you'll see it at the top of your paper and it'll be easy to retrieve and send.
Mhm. One other thing I did this year, and I mean, you may or may not want to do it, but after I've saved all my assignments, then I actually printed them out also. And then I just got a small notebook and I actually put all my assignments in a notebook. So I actually had a copy on my computer and a paper copy in case there was ever an issue that my computer crashed or something like that. Then I could easily take a picture of those assignments if I needed to resubmit them. But and just for reference for me too, with certain books, just different notes that I wanted to make sure, wow, this really spoke to me, and I wanted to make sure it was in my assignment and in writing because I want to use it again in the future. So that was just
Absolutely.
something I did.
Yeah, because we work hard on these assignments. You're going to work hard on your assignments and you're going to get a lot out of it. You're going to want to have those things for the future, whether it's working in ministry or whether it's something personal you're going through and the Holy Spirit says, "Hey, do you remember when we talked about that and you wrote it out in your assignment?" You'll have those to retrieve easily and it'll be a blessing to you for sure, or to help someone else if they have questions and be like, "Oh, I did a little research on that last year. Let me see if I can help you." So when you're writing your responses to your homework, whether it's essay or whether it's short answer, whatever the case may be, you're going to want to make sure you're using complete sentences and that you're formatting your paragraphs so that they flow well, that they make sense. Unless otherwise instructed, like your teacher might specifically say, list 10 things, and then you could make a bullet list if that's what they're wanting you to do. But as a general rule of thumb, you're going to want to have good paragraphs formatted. A good essay, for example, a 500-word essay is probably going to be about 5 paragraphs. You set up your essay where your first paragraph is going to be telling your teacher or telling the audience what it is you want to talk about. What are you going to discuss? You're introducing it to them. Your next paragraph and the couple after that are going to go into detail, more detail about all that information. Your final paragraph, when you're finished with your paper or your essay, whatever the case may be, is you're going to be your conclusion. You're going to wrap it up and kind of basically say, this is what I told you. This is why it's important. So, your first paragraph, you're going to tell them what you're going to tell them. The other paragraphs in the middle are you telling them those things. And your final paragraph is you're telling them what you told them. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's really the easiest way to remember it and helps keep you kind of on track with those essays.
And I would encourage everyone to, whatever program you're using before you submit it, to always use the spell check and the grammar
Yes.
check and those kind of tools that are at the top of your toolbar. Just because sometimes you might be writing it and it's really late and you're really tired, and there are sentences that you think make sense, and then you go through and you check that and you're like, wow, that doesn't make sense at all. So then it can help you correct it. So it's
Absolutely.
just beneficial to you.
Yes, that happens a lot, especially too if you start working an assignment at the beginning of the week and then maybe you set it aside for a couple days, then go back to it. Sometimes we aren't exactly aware of where we left off and we kind of veer off a little bit. And then when you reread it, you're like, oh, I need something in there to tie it all together or things like that. So that's really important.
Yes.
Another good thing to keep in mind when you're writing those essays are critical thinking skills. So that would be, what is the personal application? Like, how does the information apply to you? How does the reading or the video apply to you personally? What is the spiritual application? How does it apply spiritually to you or your ministry or the Lord's kingdom? Are there scripture passages that go with it well that you wanted to discuss? And then things like, why is it an important topic? How does it apply to your field? If you're in the Christian counseling program, how would it apply to you or your counselee in the counseling session? If you're in a biblical studies program, how is this going to apply to a ministry you might be involved in or something that the Lord's putting on your heart? You'll see that it will kind of all blend together once you get going and start asking yourself questions. The Lord will give you some deeper stuff than just, yes, I liked what the video had to say, I think it was important. He'll give you more depth to it, which will really help to give some bulk to your essay if you're struggling with that word count. We're gonna plop back over to, oh, Michelle, was there anything else about submitting assignments that I may have missed or you thought of?
I think we covered it. There are
Okay.
multiple, like Erica said, there are multiple ways to submit your assignment, but you just have to go in and look at it and see what you feel most comfortable with and how you want to do it. And I would encourage you, once you start, just continue to use that format so you don't have wrinkles later, like, oh,
Yeah,
what was I supposed to do? How was I supposed to do this? So it just makes it easier.
absolutely.
So, and I would encourage everyone to, I created a separate folder on my computer to put all my work in for the year, and I will do that this coming year also, so that I have a separate folder just that I can put all those documents in and they're easy to find.
Yes, and that reminds me that I wanted to point that out in Gmail as well. So you're going to get a lot of emails this year. Every time your teacher posts an assignment, every time someone comments on something, every time your assignment is graded, those emails are going to stack up. You're going to want to go through them, delete what you don't need, but there'll probably be a lot that you want to save. So the easiest way to do that is to make some labels. So here I have one for CMM for previous years, just so I can keep it separate from my current year, which I haven't created a label for yet, but we're going to do that in a moment. Then I have some other labels. So it's pretty easy to make a label. Up here, you have some different things, like you can archive stuff or trash your message, whatever the case may be. But over here is our label button, and it looks just like a little sticky tab or something. So you're going to click on the labels. We're going to start a new one for the current school year and hit create. And now my classroom invitation is under that label, so I can quickly find it. If you get an email with your Zoom link, it'd be great to have that right under here and handy as well. That way, if you're accessing your email on your phone or your tablet or your PC, whatever the case may be, you'll be able to quickly pull that up. And if there's
And it would
any
be a good
other,
idea when you're saying that too, Erica. I mean, when you get the Zoom link, just copy it and send yourself an email that
yes,
and put it in there, and then that way you can put it right in that label folder.
yep, that is great. So we'll jump back over to classroom. We're going to go home. Actually, we need to be in a class. There's just one more piece that I wanted to show you on here, which is people. So we looked at the stream, which is all of this stuff. We looked at classwork and how to submit an assignment. Now we're going to go over to people. This is just going to show you your teachers and your classmates. So if you're wondering, oh, what was that classmate's name that said that last week? When the class is new and you're just getting to know people, it's kind of helpful to look at that and see, if they have a picture, you can say, oh, yeah, I remember her. Or, oh, yeah, he was the one who said that. I really liked what he said last week. You'll know your instructors' names up here. So that's just one more helpful thing. So your classes are customizable by your instructor. So depending on who your teacher is, it may look a little different. So for example, my classes last year, one was with Dr. Cindy and another was with Dr. Charlotte. They were set up a little bit different, but there's lots of similarities. So you can see it's going to look the same for the most part, no matter which you open up, just with a little bit of personalization and like a personal touch. Let's see. Is there anything else, Michelle, that you could think of?
I think that's all. So if you have any
All right.
questions, you can always reach out to your instructor and get more information on that. Or we'd encourage you, you could go back and look over this video once again. We're trying to do this just because we seen a need for this when we started, and
Yeah.
just to help explain it to make the transition a little easier. So we hope you have a great year, and we hope that this
Yes.
video has helped you.
Absolutely. And we do thank you for your grace because this is new for us to do something like that, like this. So thank you for listening to me fumbling over words and for being patient with us.
Yes, thank you. You did a great job, Erica.
You as well. And we just hope you guys have the most blessed and amazing year possible.
Amen.
Amen.